Well, I always knew my mother was, she always said that they're going to put us for foster care. I always knew that in the back of my head. And it's just, you just never, you just don't believe that about what she said. And I didn't realize what she went through later on in life with residential school and everything. And it was just weird how later on I found out about it. And, she was abused in residential school. And I didn't know it was a thing until she died, You think when someone dies, that's it.
Yeah.
But since she died in 2014, a lot of stuff came out, and I didn't know. It's sort of like a learning experience for me. Yeah. I didn't know most of this. I didn't know what she went through.
So were you part of the whole? I had never heard of like the 60s sweep thing. So
yeah.
Were you part of that basically? Yeah.
Because like I said, they adopted us out in the white families, and
yeah. Can you kind of explain, I guess, for the people who don't know what that is?
Well, it's like it's a matter of like they try to assimilate us. I'm assimilated, I admit that, but nobody wants to say, "Oh, glad you're assimilated." But I think I'm better off for it. I'm not exposed to the alcoholism and drugs and suicides in Canada. And I'm not there, which is nice. I hear a lot about my family and stuff doing, a lot of. It seems like monthly someone commits suicide, which is sad. They're living the life, and I'm better off here. But 60 Scoop is they try to assimilate us in the white culture, and I'm assimilated, but I'm not afraid to admit I am.
Yeah. So, and what was the reservation that you grew up on?
Little Pine Reservation.
Okay, in Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've always known, like I said, my mother always told me, I'm going to give you up for adoption and this and that. You just don't believe it. Yeah. Then stuff she used to tell me, you don't believe that about what your mother says, but I'm glad that it was my choice to come down here, and I'm glad I did.
So, do you remember what it was like when they kind of came and got you?
Yeah, I remember everything, which is, there's a famous painting by Kent Monkman. It's explains everything. I don't know if you saw it or not, but
I did see it.
They come take you away. And
yeah.
It's sad, but
kind of pull you away from your family.
Yeah. And like I said, I always thought my mother was going to save me, but I didn't realize they handcuffed her to a door. It was weird because I didn't know that till during the podcast. Nobody ever told me.
So they handcuffed your mom to a door, so she couldn't get you guys.
I didn't know that till, like I said, during the podcast. Till my aunt told me and stuff. So.
And you had how many siblings?
6 altogether.
6. Okay.
And in my ward files it says 74-1, which I never knew what it was.
Yeah, what is that?
It was apparently 1974 as we were taken out from the foster care, and mine was number 1 because I was the oldest. Because it says in the ward files that a lot of stuff is redacted, and it was like, what's 70? It says 741 it does instead of my name.
Yeah. Oh.
So which is
so
weird.
You're just a number.
I'm just that's about it. Yeah. It's a sad thing that happens, but I'm glad that I think I'm better off than I was up there.
Really?
So I got my friends.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. That's what keeps me going mostly.
Yeah, good way to look at it, I guess. I mean, when you look back and you think kind of how horrible it is.
Oh yeah, it was.
I guess
remember stuff that they, it just didn't seem right at the time,
Yeah.
But you learn about it. It's like a history lesson as itself, 60 Scoop was I was part of, and they send you away to white families.
Yeah.
And it just happens. Nobody knows about it that much.
So did all of your siblings get sent to different places?
Yes. We were spread out. And like I said, my sister, Cleo, she's the one that was sent to New Jersey. And I didn't know that till this year.
So you guys thought she was in Arizona, right?
Yeah. Well, we heard different stories where she was, but we never knew.
Yeah. So. And how old was she when the whole thing happened?
She would have been 9.
9, okay.
In 74,
So you were sent to Lancaster to live right away?
Yep. Millersville. Adoption didn't work out and stuff, so they had other kids, they had other natives they adopted from Yakima, Washington, and they were in the midst, I don't know what was going on, I was caught up they were running away, and I don't know why, but it didn't work out.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for my foster family, the Henrys, wasn't for them, I don't know what would,
So how did you end up with them?
Sitting in foster care, so wasn't for them, I think it'd be dead or in jail or something.
Yeah.
So they're my parents. That technically they are, because they were there for me. Unlike my mother, but it's nothing against her, but you know, she had a lot of tough times. I didn't know.
How old were you when you ended up with the people you consider your family?
13,
Okay.
14, something like that. It would have been 75.
That's a hard age too,
Yeah. Well, I remember a lot
all
of
those
stuff that
years.
happened. I didn't want to remember, but I did. So
What was it about them that helped you so much?
they were there.
Maybe we're just there for you. Just people
Yeah.
that were actually there and stayed there, huh?
Yep. Which is the best. You know, I consider my parents. I talked to them, and you know, it's good to have someone to be there. Were there for me, so which is nice. Because I never had that mostly in my life. So
You didn't stay in touch with any of your siblings, right?
we didn't know.
You didn't know where
Yeah.
you were. So
I
how did
knew-
you end up back in contact?
Well, I knew about my brother. I got contacted in the 1980s, and his parents saying he's had a hard time. They said, "We'll give him some space," so I did, and he was mad at me for the longest time because I didn't get a hold of him. I said, "No, talk to your parents. I got a hold of you. They told me to give you space," and I did. And I got a hold of my other sisters and stuff, and years, and they came to visit down here. And my brother's the only one I haven't seen, but I've talked to him. He's like a stranger anyway, but he's still family.
Where is he now?
He's in Edmonton.
Okay.
He didn't come over too well in the podcast. He was a little angry, but that's But he's there, experiencing what I don't think I'm glad I'm not there.
Where was your dad through all this?
I don't know my dad.
You don't know your dad?
Supposedly my dad is someone else, but you can't miss what you never had. My dad is here, the Henry.
So how did the whole podcast come about?
My sister got a hold of him in 2017, sent a letter. She wrote an article for Red River Magazine, which is based in Winnipeg, and one of the producers, I think one of the magazine said, get a hold of Connie Walker of CBC News, because she did like Missing and Murdered season 1, and which is good. And they got a hold of me 2017 March. It was strange to get talk about your sister, It's like,
Yeah,
really?
I bet, like out of the blue.
Yeah. Well,
Was it something before that was on your mind?
Well, no,
wondering where?
Well, we always wondered, but nobody ever nobody listened to us, Finally, someone listened. We had a story, and someone finally actually took the story and made it believable, and now everybody's listening, which is great.
So your sister, that kind of started the whole thing.
Yes.
You actually hadn't seen her for like years and years, right?
No,
Until the
no,
podcast
yes,
came about, and that
yep.
was the first time you got to see each other again?
Yeah,
What was that like?
Well, it was awesome because it was like, I've talked to her, but we know each other through that, and she got a hold of me. In fact, it was 9 years ago, I finally got a hold of her through Facebook, which is awesome forum for family. I got a hold of a lot of my family through Facebook and everything. And she actually didn't know she had siblings until she was 18.
Really?
She didn't know anything. Because they finally, they kicked her out of the house and said, hey, here's your paperwork. You have family. But she did get to meet my mother. She was in Saskatchewan, the same area, which was good. And I got to talk to her, but it just didn't seem, it was like a stranger to me anyway. So life is strange how everything works out,
It is, but you seem really surprisingly well adjusted for
I am.
all of it.
I'm, according to the paperwork, I'm desensitized and suffer from intergenerational trauma, but I'm not owning up to it.
Ah, okay.
So it's just
So
apparently
there's
that's what.
deep-seated issues in there somewhere that just haven't come out
Yeah,
yet.
no, they haven't. But it's like I said, my friends help. They keep me in line, and
So was it hard then when they came, calling you to ask you to kind of dig all this stuff back up? And
Well, it was the first time someone ever asked,
yeah.
which is good, And I'm surprised that it did a year. The story took a year for him to do, which is like, it took them a year to do it, but after 3 months they found her and everything, and which is good. And
Okay, so if we start back at the beginning, your sister Cleo, no one really knew what happened to her. So
No.
that was the podcast, what that was about.
Yeah.
Trying to find out what had happened to her.
Yes.
And then the reporter kind of investigated everything, right? And went on a bunch of different leads, talked to you, and then ended up in New Jersey.
Yes.
Right, so then what happened when they ended up in New Jersey?
Well, they called me up one day and they said, hey, we found your sister, and through all of things, findagrave.com. I mean, apparently people take pictures. They had a date, and they went to the website and they found a date and everything, and Yeah, it's strange when you get a call from New Jersey. They're from Toronto, so they're like, you get a call, hey, we're in New Jersey, can we come visit you? I'm like, oh, something's up. So, but it's good to know after not knowing for 39 years, you know.
What was it like when you found out she had taken her own life?
Well, I've known that she's been dead. It's just a matter of knowing where she was. I visited her gravesite twice already, so that's 90 miles away after 39 years.
Yeah, what does that feel like to know she was so close?
I'm glad someone took the time to find out about, what happened. And
To actually care and
yeah,
figure it
yeah.
out.
yeah,
Well, it seems like you've said that you've, been messaged by a lot of kind of random people that
Yeah.
have listened to the podcast and that you've impacted. So what are those people saying? How is it affecting other people?
it's just they never knew about what happened to Indigenous people in Canada. At the Sixties Scoop residential school and missing murdered Indigenous women and girls. Nobody really talks about it. I've told my story to other people, but they didn't really. It's like deaf ears, So after a while, you get tired of telling it, and I'm glad someone took the time to.
Yeah, you said people just didn't believe it.
No,
Like
no,
if
no,
you
not
tell
at
the
all.
story.
No,
Yeah, because I had no idea.
but it's in paperwork. It says
Yeah.
it all what happened, but
It's amazing how you never hear about something like that.
no, it is to me. But I lived it, but
Yeah,
I'm okay. I'm
you're
alive.
all right.
So.
And you think you're better off?
Yeah, I think so. Most people say, well, that was the main goal of, I forget who it was, to assimilate people with the white culture. And
Yeah.
I'm better off for it. I still know my culture. I know where I came from. But
How important is that in your life now? Or is
Well,
it just something that
it's
is
there.
there, but it's
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, I know where I'm from, and I can feel it right here, but it's not, I got more of my long hair. That's all I do, my hair long. But that's,
Are you glad that it's making an impact, or do
It
you
is.
kind of wish that it would just?
no, I'm glad that it affects people a certain way. Like I said, most people never knew about it.
Yeah.
I tell my friends, they're like, what? 60s Scoop, residential school.
Yeah.
I'm glad people are reaching out because it affects them like they never heard about it. And I'm glad people are getting it like a history lesson
Right.
all together. And, it's just awesome. People are reaching out. I'm like, and I respond to as much people as I can. It's like they're surprised I do. I'm like, well, thank you. In my phone, it says automatically I put thank you, and it comes up what I want to say. So it's just automatic,
Since you said it all.
Yeah, because it's good. It's good to know people
Yeah.
are listening. It ain't right to separate families, But it happened, and I can't be. I didn't really dwell on it. If I did, I can't let it eat you up inside. And I said I have my friends. That's the main thing. That's the thing that got me through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So.